This is my first video for 2025, so if you're watching this on the release date, it will be the 6th of Jan. But I'm actually recording this just over a month earlier on the 5th of December because, well, that's how I've got to do it. You know, I've got a kid, I work from home, so you've got to balance work, life, all those things. So you can't wait to record videos. You have to seize the moment when it comes. So there's another milestone I'd like to celebrate today, and that is it marks 1 year since I started releasing one video per week. In 2024, at the start of 2024, I resolved to release one video for every Monday of that year. And that trend is going to continue into 2025 as well because, well, it makes things predictable, it keeps things active and fresh, and, well, I've got a lot of things to review and talk about for my videos. I've already got, at the time of recording this, I've already got material going well into Feb with a few gaps here and there for, of course, new things that may come and need a quicker review. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, planning is key when you're doing a YouTube channel, and even though mine is but a mere ant in the scope of things, I hope it will grow into something a little bigger in the future. So today's review is going to be this hornby class. Sorry, I apologize, it's not a hornby. I'm used to saying hornby because all my rolling stock is hornby thus far. Actually, you could say, because this is a Lima. Lima is an Italian maker of model trains, and it's now under the Hornby empire, in fact. So I guess I wasn't totally wrong there. But this is a Lima Class 47 in Railfreight Distribution livery. Now, the Class 47 is a British locomotive. So this is a model of a British locomotive by an Italian locomotive manufacturer in British railroading, one of the British railroading companies at the time, their livery. So it's an interesting mishmash of things, and this was a gift from my parents. In October, they went to Canada for a month-long holiday after a hiatus of nearly 5 years of not going anywhere due to COVID and economic crisis in Sri Lanka and all that kind of thing. So naturally, they brought me quite a few gifts, me and my family, my child, my wife, everyone. And one of the gifts they bought for me was this locomotive. They went to about 6 model train shops in and around the Toronto area to find trains for me. But the thing is, since I run mostly Hornby stuff on my layout and British, you know, model train stuff, the biggest issue with buying stuff in North America was the coupler, because the North American model trains use a different sort of coupler to what the British and, you know, in this case, the Italian and European locomotives use. This kind of hook, and I don't know if you can see it properly. We'll have a look at it later when we have a closer look at the locomotive. So as you may have guessed, you can't couple the two different types easily. You've got to do some sort of janky kind of thing. Now, newer rolling stock do have what's known as NEM pockets, or excuse me, similar kinds of mechanism where you can swap couplers. But older locomotives like this one, you just can't swap the couplers. You're more or less restricted because the coupler is part of the bogie frame. So in that case, it was quite difficult for them to find rolling stock that I could run. And this was, I think, the only Hornby / Lima / British coupler style piece of rolling stock that that particular shop in Toronto had. Needless to say, they checked it out there, they got it run in front of their eyes, sent me a video and bought it for me. So I'm really pleased with this locomotive. It's my second Class 47. My previous one is a Hornby one in Virgin livery, for which I have retrofitted lights. This one I might retrofit lights because I can see there are lights what appear to be like lighting lenses there, but there are no lights at the moment. I have opened up this locomotive, and on video I will be opening it up again and showing you some of the differences and how it's quite easy to open this locomotive up if you know how to open it. But if you don't know how to open it, you could damage it. So I'm going to give you a top tip about opening up locomotives later in this video. I opened it up easily because I knew how to open it up, but it goes to show that don't always assume that what appears to be the easiest way into a locomotive is the way to get into it without damaging it. So without further ado, let's take a closer look at this Lima. I have to remember to say Lima Class 47 Railfreight Distribution locomotive. And one final thing I must say, I'm pretty happy about also, because it's an older model and nowadays everything's made in China. You get varying levels of quality. I mean, Hornby has quite variable quality. For example, in their made in China products, I've got some really good ones and I've got one or two not so good ones. But that's a topic for another video. This Lima model is made in Italy. So let's see. I mean, the Italians do make some lovely cars when they work. Some of my Italian car loving friends are going to kill me for saying that, but, well, they know it's true as well. So let's see. Is this Lima locomotive going to be quintessentially Italian as well. Spoiler alert, maybe not so, but let's get into it. Right up next is a closer look at this beautiful locomotive. So here we are, it's time for that up close and personal look at this Lima Class 47 that I just told you about in the previous section. Roof detail, pretty nice. It's all molded into the plastic though. You've got what appear to be, well, we've got fans there. Those are the fans for the resistor banks that are actually used in a locomotive like this to slow it down, as well as for the engine radiator. Now those are all molded into the plastic, but they've got a really nice 3D effect going on there that makes it look like they are separately fitted. Now there are high-end model train locomotives with separately fitted fans that do rotate as well, but well, this is not one of those, and I'm happy it's not, because those are just extra bits of complexity. I mean, I'm a fairly passionate model railroader, but I wouldn't say I'm a serious nitpicking anal model railroader, so to speak. Minor details missing don't bother me. That's why I really like this. For me, this is detailed enough. I mean, if you look at the side there, you can see how the doors are painted separately. You've got separately fitted cab rails there. You've got some nice printing on the sides of the livery. You've got, sorry for bumping the camera, I need to remember to stop doing that. You've got some nice the decals there. The doors, once again, molded into the plastic, but made and picked out to look like they are separately fitted parts. The glass is all clear. You can see we've got, have we got any cab detail? I need to check this out off camera. Well, very minor cab detail. I suppose that's something that could be improved by me later. I'll put a man in there for sure at each end for driving. And of course, those apertures there, what I call lighting lenses, are clear plastic. You can't see inside, it's showing inside the locomotive, which naturally is dark. So that means it's going to be quite easy for me to install headlights in this thing, and I'm really happy about that, because my Hornby Class 47, I had to drill the body, and that was really nerve-wracking. It was the first time I'd ever drilled a model rail locomotive body. No such surgery required with this one. Looking at the underside, we've got that, as I told you, Lima, made in Italy. But that's it. We don't see a model number or anything on this thing. You can see the wheels need a bit of a clean up, and we've got, well, a ring field motor, because Lima also uses the ring field motor. Now at this end, you can see that the base keeper plate is fitted with screws, but at this end it's clipped on. Now I'm not going to remove the base keepers, because everything seems to roll freely enough, and I don't want to just needlessly remove things that don't need to be removed. Wheels could use a bit of a cleanup, as I said. A bit of a look as well in between the wheels tells me that this thing appears to have a split pickup solution, where the front wheels, rather the driving bogie picks up power on this side, and the front bogie picks up power on this side. But hang on a second, I can see what appear to be pickups as well. So it could just be that this is an, well, almost all-wheel pickup locomotive. Of course, you're not going to get any electrical connectivity on these traction-tired wheels, and you can see the traction tires look slightly knackered. They're the original ones that came with the loco. I will be swapping them out as soon as I can get the right spares, because I have spares for the Hornby Class 47. I must see if they'll fit. If they won't fit, well, remember, you shouldn't just try to stretch traction tires on. Get the correct one for your model. Now, as I spoke about body removal, it's pretty easy actually if you know what you're doing. You've got to pull the buffers out first like this. Now, I actually found this out because I follow a channel called Sam's Trains, where he does a lot of reviews and he opens up locomotives to show you the inside of them. So I noticed in quite a few locos, you had to pull the buffers out to get the body off. So I wondered, hey, if maybe that's the case with this. A little bit of research online showed me, yes, it was the case with this. So let's just, you can see now I'm using my fingernail there to prise off the body, and away it comes. So let's first put the chassis aside. So you can see this is the body. The two cabs are plastic pieces fitted there, and there is that little piece of plastic, clear plastic, behind which I will be mounting headlights. So then you would get the prototypical Class 47 headlight coming, and of course I'll make it directional. Now the red tail lamps or reversing lights, those are parts that are fitted in place, so I am not going to do anything there because I do not want to drill the body of this loco. So this particular loco of mine will only have directional headlights. Let's put that away there. Let's take a look at the chassis. Plastic chassis, but well, it just doesn't seem to be deteriorating or bent in any way. You can see how we have got the all-wheel pickups there. which leads me to believe that this was originally an older design that has been adapted to have all-wheel pickups, because typically this would have been only there and this would not be there. But the fit and finish of the pickup solution is good enough to lead me to believe that this was done at the factory and not an aftermarket job. Got a really chunky weight there, which gives traction benefits. And at the back here, we've got the ring-field motor. You can see the two connections for it. Now that bogie only has one side of wheels picking up. Okay, that's fine. And if we look here, you will notice that there are a lot more gears on this thing than on the Hornby Class 47 with its ring-field motor. Now what that means is that this locomotive will run a lot slower, so to speak, which is a bit more realistic because you don't want your loco shooting off into the distance. The downside of that is that you've got a lot more friction in this mechanism. So what I've done is, I don't know if you can see it there, I hope you can, is I have put some plastic grease. Now you need to get the correct kind of plastic grease when you lubricate your model locomotives. Don't just use any grease because it will deteriorate the plastic. Remember, plastic is also a hydrocarbon. I think it's silicon grease or lithium grease or something like that, but if you're in doubt, get the correct thing that is made for model trains. I put that on the gears. Once again, you don't want to slather it like you're lathering up your hair with shampoo or anything. Just put a decent amount and then you run the model a bit so that the grease can spread all over the gears. So I have greased the gears. I've added a drop of oil to the motor bearings there and there. And well, that was the degree of servicing that I had to do to this loco, because well, the rest of it came in pretty good order to me. I didn't have any gunk or fluff or anything else inside, for me to be worrying about. So what we do now is, let's put the body back. See how simple that was? It neatly clipped in place. And of course, we mustn't forget to put the buffers back because, well, they are important to hold the body in place, because I think there's only about 2 clips that hold the body in place and they are quite light so that you can easily remove the body. So top marks to Lima for designing a locomotive with a securely fitting body that can also be removed quite easily for maintenance, because unlike in a Hornby ring field, I'm not sure if you can pop off the motor bogie. No, you can't actually. You cannot pop off the motor bogie for maintenance. You have to remove the body for maintenance. So the next step of this review is going to be watching this beautiful locomotive run on my layout. Stay tuned. So here we are. Let's try the first run. Bring the power up slowly. Oh, there it goes. Let's bring it back into front. Okay, a little bit of a erratic starter, but there we go. We've got it going now. Out of view. Let's bring it back. Let's have a run around the layout. So we can see that it's moving at a very nice speed. So I've got it at 50% speed on the controller. So this is what I was talking to you about, the gearing of the locomotive is very, very pleasing. Let's bring it back and maybe let's go for a little bit of a higher speed. Oh, it needs a bit of a tap here and there. That happens. I need to check the connections. Here we are, 100% speed. And let's bring it to a stop here. Next up, let's couple some coaches. Okay, let's couple it up to the famous cow train that my son seems to really enjoy. Excuse the wonky camera work, I'm hand holding the camera. Let's reverse it for a coupling. Okay, it has coupled. Let's give it a good amount of throttle. There we go. Eight goods wagons. Well, actually there's 7 goods wagons and a passenger coach going. I'm just bringing the speed down now a bit. You can see it's once again coping quite well. There is a bit of friction here and there in the mechanism, which I will be addressing at a later date. There it comes and it has derailed. Well, I guess the that is one of the friction points that I noticed about this locomotive, that the motor bogie is rather stiff to pivot. So I have an idea which I'm going to do is maybe install some Teflon tape between the point where it connects with the chassis and or other slides on the chassis. But for now, let's get it back on its way again, and you can see it is stalled, probably because of electrical continuity. There we go. That is 50% speed for you on the controller. So you can see how it responds at 50% speed very nicely. Good level of realism. Now let's give it a bit of full speed. Will it derail? Will it derail? Yes, it will. Oh dear me, we have got quite a bit of a derailment there. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, knowing that the motor bogie is a bit stiff to pivot. So let's set it on its way. When it started on its own, that's nice. There it goes. Let's stop it at the station and let's reverse. Let's see how we can push the entire train now. So we are pushing an 8 wagon, or rather 7 wagon and 1 tiny passenger coach train. The passenger coach is right next to the cow coaches, because you know the minders of the cows need to keep an eye on the cows. And there you are. You can see it's pushing the train very, very nicely. At what have we got on the controller here? Oh, there we are. Not even 50%. That's pretty neat, isn't it? Let's push it into the station, because that's not unrealistic at all. And we get stuck on a point again. Like I said, I need to sort out this motor bogie's pivoting action a bit. But let's let the train just push a little more. And we have arrived at the station. So there you are. I really like this locomotive, and I can fix the motor bogie issue as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this candid review with its missteps and all that. If you want to see more of my reviews, check out my model train playlist, and don't forget to subscribe as well. Last but not least, have a wonderful New Year 2025. Take care.